Hey Dallas, how good do you think this defense can be this year?
The defense has no limits to it this year. From what I'm seeing and everything in practice, the type of work we putting in, and, just the unity as one. The togetherness that we starting to have, and the bond on and off the field. So it's no limit to how the defense could be good. So
Just what have you seen from the two freshmen, summer enrollees, Keon and Ionze?
I mean, yeah, I'm seeing a lot of improvement. A lot of physical traits that they both possess, but it's progression that I see every day. Whether it's the little things such as individual to team periods and just knowing what they're supposed to do on the defense. It's a lot of progression every single day between both of them. I love to see it.
Yesterday, Coach Saban said that you've been a good leader this preseason, I guess all summer. Has that been an emphasis for you to maybe be more vocal and be that example for other guys?
I mean, yeah, because it's a new generation of college football now, and so just like me having the experience I had playing as a freshman and stuff, like just knowing what it takes and knowing what it takes to get to where we want to be. It's just I could just echo that, and just tell everybody, trying to get everybody on the same page, and just make sure everybody's ready to work for the season.
Hey Dallas, I got the Jordans on. I saw that you had the Jordans on too. How they playing and kind of like I posted on Twitter and a lot of people like the swag that you have at the cleat game.
Oh, you talking about the Jordan ones? I try and spice it up this season. It's the last one, so I mean, I've been wearing Jordans since I was born. My dad, he's a very big sneakerhead, especially growing up. He owned a lot of shoe stores and stuff, so like sneakers is nothing new to me. So and I just try and bring it on the field some type of way. So yeah.
Some of the younger guys, Saban said that there's sometimes a transition, high school to college, playing that outside linebacker role. 'Cause sometimes they come in just playing D end.
Yeah.
What's the toughest part you think about that transition going from maybe down lineman to outside linebacker at Bama?
I mean, I feel like the transition is more tougher mentally and like understanding the game of football and like understanding coverages and rush lanes and gap integrity and stuff like that. And so I feel like that's probably the hardest transition from high school to football is like the expansion of your football IQ. So in high school, people just trying to see ball, get ball, but like it's a lot more little things into striking blocks and pass rushing and dropping and being in the right place at the right time. So
Hey Dallas, between the speakers that were brought in and just what the coaches talked to y'all, what do you feel like was the biggest message or takeaway from fall camp?
I feel like the speaker that stuck most to me was Doc Rivers because he's a very famous, very successful NBA coach, and so I feel like he's had a lot of successful teams and he had a lot of a lot of bad teams that didn't go out too well, and so he stuck with me by saying about the Celtics team when they won and brought in Kevin Garnett and Ray Allen, and he said everybody had to sacrifice something. They had to sacrifice something to get to where everybody wants to go. And so Paul Pierce being on that Celtics team, he was the star player, and he had to cut back on the amount of shots and touches he had because he had guys like KG and Ray Allen and stuff like that. And so I feel like if everybody sacrifices one thing, whether it's on or off the field, and everybody just plays their role, sky's the limit. So
Do you have a favorite pair of Jordans?
the fours I got on my feet right now, the Jordan fours, but I really like them all. Like I got a couple. Like I mean, I have some colors I like, yeah, but it's I'm very spontaneous with shoes. I can't. Yeah.
Obviously the defense wants to prepare or play to a standard for themselves, but how much do you guys feel a responsibility to test and prepare the quarterbacks as they're going through a quarterback battle to really get them ready for the season?
I mean, this is it's hard to tell because like they rotate all the quarterbacks with different teams. So like one might go with the first team, one might go with the second team, and or third team or fourth team, and then it changes the next day. So like the quarterback battle is very challenging, but everybody's good, literally. Like with the scrimmages, from what I see and during the preseason and stuff like that, like it's iron sharpened iron every day. So it's very unique to see.
Have you spoken with Will since he's left, and what's the best piece of advice he's given you?
Yeah, I talk to Will. I talk to Will very frequently. Seeing how his mind is working with the transition going into the big leagues, National Football League. And honestly, like the main thing he told me to, just relax. Like it's just relaxed. Like it's all about football now, and it's not. Just don't put so much pressure on yourself because of the type of name and all the hype you have to quote unquote live up to. It's just relax and just be you, and everything will fall in place. But yeah, Will is transitioning very good. He made a big play against the Dolphins. It's something you see every day in practice. So I wasn't too surprised, but
Dallas, what stands out about Yanze Pierre and Keon Keeley? I know they're, summer rivals, but during fall camp, what stands out about those two players in particularly?
honestly, for me, it's probably the natural physical ability they both acquire. Like they both very special physical specimens. With how they move, to how much impact they put on the blocker. It's just something that is good to see every day because they're so young, but they have so much potential, and they don't even know it. But it's just them having to day to day grind, and it's that's just gonna stack days, and it's just everything's gonna turn out good for them.
Going against him in practice, have you seen a guy like Caden Proctor progress and maybe get more comfortable with that left tackle position?
Caden Proctor, that's my guy. We go out every day in practice, but he gets me better. I get him better every day in practice. But I can see the very fast progression that he having coming in. So, you know, seeing him day by day and just seeing him slowly get better, you could tell he's going to be one of those ones for sure. Like when his time comes, you could tell he's going to be definitely one of those ones.
Another young guy, Caleb Downs, kind of a two-parter here. One, what's the most impressive thing he's done during camp or the preseason? And two, what have you kind of learned about him and his process?
Caleb Downs is a straight dog. He came in here and he snapped it. He came in here and, he tried to establish how he plays on the field, very quiet off the field, just sit. But he's more of a listener than a talker, so I do like that about him. But, he's a dog. If you tell him to do something, he's going to do it. So, he's very instructive of what he does. He listens very well. He's going to give it to the fullest every snap. So, it's the expectation, but he always delivers, so.
Yeah, just kind of continuing from Charlie's question, Caden's a pretty athletic guy. What's the craziest or most eye-opening thing you've seen him do on the practice field since he's been here?
One thing I would say about Caden is that your first move is not always going to beat him because, Caden, he's such a raw talent and the potential is unmatched. But, he knows how to recover very well. So, like, if you beat him on the first move or something like that, the recovery's right there. Like, he's back at you like you didn't even do the move. So, yeah, but he's very eye-opening, especially coming in as a young guy, especially being on the O-line with the ones as a freshman, too. Like, that's impressive.
Thanks, Dallas.
Yeah.
Darian Davenport, raise your hands. We'll get you guys started. We'll start on the left with Joe.
Darian, how did you feel like the offensive line has developed ready for the start of the season?
Yeah, I think from the spring to the summer to the season so far with camp, we developed how we wanted to. We've set goals out, get tougher, play together as a unit, and I think so far we've done that.
On the right here with Charlie.
In the spring, you talked about that was your first time playing guard. Now, having done that for a while now, how do you feel more comfortable in playing a new spot?
Yeah, like you said, spring was the first time. Summer was the next step, and the camp is the next step in that. So far, I feel like I've gotten more comfortable just in every aspect. The more you do something, the better you get at it. So I definitely got more comfortable, and I'm looking for the next couple practices to kind of polish that up before the next game.
On the right with Nick.
Hey, Darren. Several offensive linemen have talked, whether it be the spring, in fall camp, just about how you guys want to dominate, how you guys want to just essentially accomplish all these things this season. It's one thing to say it, obviously it's another thing to do it. I mean, what kinds of things are you seeing where guys are following through on some of the things you guys have mentioned you want to do?
Yeah, I think something that we get coached on here at Alabama is how you practice, how you play. So if you talk about it, you don't practice it, then it's not going to show up on game day. So I think something that we've developed is like carrying that in practice. Finishing every rep how we want to. If a rep isn't as good as we want to, we'll talk about it. We'll meet about it, and then figure out how we can correct it for the next rep. But it all starts with practice and how you finish in practice.
Now that fall camp's come to a close, what do you feel like between what the coaches were saying or the speakers they brought in was kind of the message that the coaches are wanting y'all to get as you get ready for the season?
Yeah. Personally, I think the connect that I made was a lot. We brought in a lot of winners, a lot of people who excelled at their profession. So I would say just how you dominate each aspect of how you live. That's what they talked about, whether it's on the field or if it was off the field. Just kind of dominate and how that connects to every aspect of life.
Tony up front.
Alabama hasn't had a true freshman start at left tackle since 2014. Not saying that Caden's going to be named it, but if he does, what has he shown the unit to provide the confidence that he's able to do that?
I think everybody competing for the tackle position has shown a lot. Whether it's Pritchard or whether it's Caden, they both developed a lot since the spring, and I know we appreciate them, getting better and taking every rep seriously.
The back to top.
Hey, Darian, thanks for being here. Everybody's talking about this quarterback position, and it's like almost to the annoying point. As you guys inside the locker room, how do you guys deal with that from not letting it divide the actual locker room, and kind of what's the mindset in terms of supporting who you guys eventually choose to lead the quarterback?
Yeah, kind of have to block out the noise, focus on what's important. We know that every day is opportunity for everybody to show, their skills, show what they can do. So, in the locker room, we appreciate the fact that they're competing hard, that they're all giving their all. So, I think just blocking out the noise and kind of focusing on your job is what we think about.
On the right, Charlie.
Obviously, the big difference is one position snaps the ball, one doesn't. But to you, what's maybe been the biggest difference or transition from center to guard?
Like in the football aspect, I would say just playing off the ball is a little bit different for me. When you're a center, you're like on level zero. Not a lot of separation between you and the defender. So I think the biggest difference was like playing off the ball, having a little bit more time until you engage with the defender.
On the left with Joe.
The RPO has been a concept in football the last handful of years, and a lot of focus goes into how challenging it is for a quarterback. But how challenging is it for the offensive line to run the RPO, not going downfield, but also protecting the quarterback, getting good results out of the RPO?
Yeah, I think what we're coached to do is just block every play like it's a run. We don't know if it's getting passed or hand off, but our job is to block the run, and then if it gets passed, chase the ball, help the ball carrier. But I think what we're taught is just to block the run and let the quarterback decide whatever he thinks is best.
On the right with Nick.
You get to go against the defense every day in practice. How good can this defense be?
So far, this defense has shown a lot. They've shown a lot of intensity, a lot of flying around to the ball. We have a lot of playmakers on defense, and it's exciting, to go out there and compete with them every day and see how good they could become.
What's your relationship like with Seth, and how's it kind of a luxury on this team to have both of y'all that have such experience at center and on the offensive line?
Yeah, I'm old now, so Seth's kind of old now too. But we've known each other for 4 years now. Developed a great relationship. Me and him both playing the center position, both playing. It comes with a lot of similarities. Like we both do the same things. We both have the same mindset. So I think the relationship off the field carries onto the relationship on the field, whether it's communication or just having fun out there.
Anything else for Darian?
Appreciate you.